All right, today we're going to talk a little bit about foundations. Unfortunately, it's not an uncommon occurrence to find a house that you love. The floor plan's great, it's got the features you're looking for, it's within your budget, but as you're doing the walkthrough, you see things like this separation here, or you see some cracks above the doorway or by the windows. Or on the exterior brick, you see either stair step or through cracks on the brick. These are obvious signs of either shifting or actual foundation issues. And a lot of buyers are just going to write the property off at that point. They're going to say, hey, foundation, don't want to deal with it, could be a big issue, I'm moving on to the next one. But in North Texas, it's something that it would behoove you to be well versed in, to educate yourself in, so that when you do come across these properties, you know how to deal with them. So the first step is just to kind of visually while you're there see how bad it is based on what you can see, and if you've got an experienced realtor, they should be able to give you some insight with their experience as well. Now, when it comes to foundations, in very, very few examples, I wouldn't write the house off. Now, I get the apprehension. I grew up on the East Coast, and if we have a problem with foundation issues, we just write it off. As far as we're concerned, you might as well burn the house down, saving it, right? They just didn't know how to deal with it over there. But here in North Texas, with the soil the way it is and with foundation movement being so common, we're actually really well adept and really well equipped to deal with foundation issues here. Just in simplest terms, for a slab foundation, you're going to dig underneath, you're going to dig down to what's called refuse, where if you apply a certain amount of pressure, nothing's moving anymore. You install a pier, either concrete or steel, and you support that area of the house. And piers are typically installed about every 6 feet along the part of the house where there's foundation movement. So that supports your foundation stronger than it was when it was actually built, and makes it so that that house isn't going to move. Ultimately, if you really like the house, unless your realtor feels strongly that it's not worth it, I'd move forward with it. And the way to give yourself peace of mind is to get a structural engineer. Now, feel free to message me, text me, if you would like some referrals for some good structural engineers that I recommend. But the structural engineer is your authority, the authority on foundations, the authority on whether or not a structure is properly sound. And for typically about $450, you're going to get a structural engineer out. They're going to do all their due diligence, and they, as the licensed expert, are going to be able to give you not only a map of where the piers need to be, what kind of piers in many cases are going to need to be installed, but they're also going to give you their opinion on how fixable this foundation is. Some foundations truly are not fixable. Some. Very rarely though. Most foundations, with installing piers, with doing the right foundation work by a reputable foundation company based on the recommendations of a structural engineer, they will not only make that foundation level and sound, they will make it so that you have the peace of mind knowing that it's not moving again. Or if you do, or if it does rather, that they have the warranty, that is the foundation company, to back up their workmanship and make sure that if adjustments are needed down the road, which is typically many years, if not decades down the road, if there is movement, that they'll take care of it. Now, for further questions on foundation and plumbing or any of those sort of issues, feel free to call, message, or text, and I'll answer the questions as best I can, or direct you to the expert who can. Until next time, Josh Winkler.